Well, it's another morning here, and I'm gonna do a little bit of boat work up here again. Man, this motor is just sitting here looking premium, just ready to drop in. Look at that, man. Look at that. Probably the most crucial thing to be put on, I feel, is that water pump. That's the thing that I trust the least on here right now. But I did get all those peripherals to put on there, and that way it'd be all nice and fresh. But what I'm going to do now is I have slowly started taking stuff loose in here on the boat. I drained the diesel. Which when I did, I pumped it into jerry cans, and it went through 2 filters prior to going into the cans. So it's good, clean fuel. I filled up both my trucks, and I've got both trucks full and an extra 20 gallons more sitting. Yeah, and it'll get used. I've taken the exhaust loose here on the motor. I've taken the shift linkage and all, which happens to be all the same linkage, believe it or not, from this 4-cylinder diesel to that V8 gas motor right there. But I just start taking all that stuff loose. There's not much to pull on a motor out of a boat, believe it or not. I'll probably need to move the batteries. I can't have them there now that I'm dropping the V8 back in, because the V8's longer. So I will have to reroute those. It's no big deal though. This boat only came with 1 battery, and it was down underneath where my feet are here. It didn't have a dual battery setup. There'll be dual batteries down in here this time, not a single. Once I get the motor out, I'll show you what all I've got to do next. But I'm thinking about going and setting this motor out of here today. I don't like very much. I'll set this out, and it's going to take some time to fix this diesel. So long to get the parts here, everything costly. But I'm tired of it holding me up from being able to use this boat. It just did not work out the way that was planned. But I'm still all good no matter what, because a lot of the work I did wasn't based around this motor. A lot of the work I did was through the transom and replacing bad parts all back there from a saltwater leak. And so none of that work was in vain. That's still good even for the V8, and it had to be done. So no harm, no foul. And I'll just go ahead and put the V8 gas back in here, all prepped up right there, ready to go. And it's super easy. Y'all just don't understand how easy it is between the switches on these, switching from one to the other. And I'll get this all in order, and I may have a plan for a later date for this motor right here. Once I get it all going the way I want it, and I can do it at my leisure, definitely have a plan at a later date. And I'll tell you what that is when that time comes. Well, I've been working off and on the boat here. Man, look at this 5.7 liter. I've got this joker ready to drop in. Man, I got it ready to drop in. It is running so beautiful too. So up here right now, I'm working in the boat. I've pulled the batteries, the battery trays, or boxes as you might want to call them. I've got the motor mount bolts out in the front. I've got all the fuel lines off. I've got all the throttle shift cables off. The exhaust loose. I just need to take some wiring loose on it in a couple places, like some grounds. Everything's disconnected from it now. It's 100% free. And really the only thing left I need to do is lower this unit down, put it in drive, because when you pull this leg off of it, this out drive, when you remove it, you want the shifter in drive position, the way it turns, a little pin down there. And when I go back on, I'll be going back on with the other leg I have like this one. I'll show you here. We're not calling it a leg. It's kind of a slang term we picked up for an out drive. You know, we call it the leg back here on the back of the boat. It's a little slang term, but I have the one for the gas. Now, the reason I want to change from gas to that one is that the diesel has a different gear ratio inside for the RPMs of the diesel versus the gas. And this one's in pretty good shape right here, other than that little, what do you call that? Skeg on the bottom down there is broken. It's not a deal breaker. It's like a little fin that sticks down, and it's not a deal breaker. They happen to get broke a lot. You can actually get one of those welded back on. Here it is right here, and it's just they're ready to be slid right on, and check the fluid level, and that's that. Outside right now is some bonker boat races going on. They've been going since early this morning. Different classes of their fishing boats racing each other. The one that I was interested in, I already walked out and watched, and that was the class that Marvin was in, and Marvin won now 2 years in a row. Miss Mel, she went and watched the boat races for a while, and then she ran to the market. Yeah, but I just couldn't handle the heat out there in the event today. Wish I would have felt better, but that's the way it goes. But you know what was cool, Mel, is I sit upstairs, and we have such a view there. I just sit watching everything from up there, though. So prior to dropping it in, there were some things that I wanted to have on that V8, that 5.7 liter, to where it's nice and fresh. So I got on Amazon and I ordered these things up. I want to show you what these items cost me on Amazon, and I'll show you the items and the reason that I got them here. So let's begin this, and let's look at a little bit of Amazon ordering here. So the first thing on the list right here is this Perco selector switch right here for your batteries. Now there's one up there in the boat right now, but it's just the on off for the battery. It does not have a selector that you can operate more than one battery. And I'm gonna also use the on off one also for one more battery, for a third battery. So right here you have your off, your battery 1, over here your battery 2, or in the middle. You can combine the batteries and it'll put them in a parallel and combine both of them at the same time. In the boat world, this battery selector switch is just worth its weight in gold. The next item is 3/8 inch, or also considered 10 millimeter fuel line, fuel hose. This is 10 foot long of it, and it's called MBR rubber, and it's high pressure up to 300 PSI is what it's rated at. So let's look at this one. It cost me, it was ordered the same time as the switch. It cost me $13.98 for 10 foot of it. And the reason I bought this is, yes, I can get fuel line here, but I've had the problem of getting some substandard fuel line here locally. This was $45.35, free international returns, no import fees, qualify for free delivery. Now let's go back to other items on the order. Then we have the 10 foot hose right here. It was $13.98, no import, and it was $12.05 shipping, but it also qualified for the free delivery. And on the same order, which I have not received these yet, but they were paid for all at the same time, was the elbow exhaust gaskets. They were $17.58, no import fees. All three of those items was $76.91 because it met the free shipping qualification. The shipping was zero back out to no shipping, nothing to be due, just the exact price of the parts themselves only. And these items got here in about 5 days. It only took about 5 days from the night that I ordered them until they arrived. And that's all the items but one, and that's manifold gaskets, and it looks like they're going to be here tomorrow, just one day later than the other two items on that order. So the next thing I ordered up here was fuel filters. I bought 2 original. Quicksilver is Mercruiser's brand. I bought 2 original Quicksilver fuel filter water separators. Want to have a backup to carry on the boat, and these go on to the original factory housing. So I got 2 of those, and also the Quicksilver brand oil filter. Somebody stuck a Fram on it. I am not a Fram fan at all. I mean, I would advise anybody to steer clear of those. But this is the original Quicksilver. There's some great videos out there online that show all these different brand in the boat world, oil filters cut open, also in the automotive world, and yeah, stay clear from them. But this Quicksilver is the original, and so I bought that also. Let's look at what they cost me and how much it took for them to get here. So the water separating and fuel filter right here was $13.99, not bad. I bought 2 of them, and no import fees. It was $11.29 shipping to the Philippines, but once again, you get a credit if you hit that $49 mark, so we'll come back to that. And then we've got the oil filter here. It was $20.21 for it, $12.05 shipping, but I also met the qualification for the free shipping. And so again, those filters all together and a couple of other little items, some silicone and stuff I threw in there that just cost $2 or $3, whatever. Everything came out over the $49 qualification, and they also arrived. All this was ordered on the same day, so 5 days for it to get from the USA to here, and I've got all that here. So let's go on to the next item. I don't know if I'll break this down as fine, but let me show you here. Now, the next item I ordered here is for baseball bats. This is that wrap on a bat handle right there for grip, back grips. You see right there. It has an adhesive on the back of it. And I'm gonna show you what I ordered these for, and it's not a baseball bat. And the price on these was $7.99, and they also fell underneath the free shipping promo if the order, one single order placed, was over $49. There's a maximum too of, I can't remember what it is right now, somewhere $200 or $300. If the order gets over that, well then it will incur charges again. So what you do, just break it up into multiple orders, same difference. So got these here, pretty reasonable, and free shipping again. Let me go show you what I'm gonna use these for. Right here on the back of the boat, I fell here before. My hand slid right off of this. You got anything oily, say even if you had like suntan lotion or anything on, sunscreen, and it's on your hands, anything, these are so slick, and when you're climbing up the steps, man, your hand can just slide right off this and give way. And I wanted something there with some grip to it, so I'm gonna take these baseball wraps and I'm gonna wrap these 2 handles right here where you grab, right in this little area right here. And so I got one for each side, and I'm gonna wrap those up. And you know, I fell before and hit this concrete. My hand gave way right there off of that, and I busted my head and was laying there unconscious. And when I come to, I was laying in some coagulated blood as well, and nobody had knew I was even hanging upside down there on the ladder because my foot slipped in. And I remember my hand just slipping right off of that and going back. I'm not saying that I wasn't at some fault myself, but I'm saying this would have definitely helped me get grip. And how many times I climbed up that, and I'm trying to be very cautious, and I can feel how slippery that is. I've seen other people climb in on the boat too and comment how slippery that handle is right there. So hopefully this is a very cheap, and hopefully it'll last, fix. But if not, and I got to replace them ever so often, even if I had to replace them annually, so be it. That's worth it for the safety. So that's another item I got in. And the last thing here is a fuel door. Yeah, a fuel door for fuel inlet on this boat. And let's talk about this and how much it cost. It stainless steel, 316 stainless steel. It was $25.55 with $11.57 shipping, but it also qualified for free shipping. So this was a very important item to me, and I want to go show you why on that. So this is on the back of the boat here, and this is the original gas door. And watch this. This is supposed to lock right here, right? You're supposed to have to push it and unlatch it, but it doesn't latch. It's in really horrible condition. The line's all good, but it's all loose, and the catch is broken there. It doesn't seal that good. It's got this little O-ring, and it's right here on the back of the boat. So when waves come up and hit the back of the boat, I have seen the waves flip this up. That is not good. I've had a wave hit right into the back of the boat. Water hit here and this door go. Yeah, and the problem is, I've been on sea raised sites and stuff trying to get an original replacement, and I've had no luck, other than I found a couple, and like one guy wanted something like $181, and that was only shipping in the US. So I'm going to replace it with a 316 stainless steel with the keyless door. I do have a boat fuel key here. Let me show you. I think it's sitting here. For you that don't know, if y'all have never seen one of these, this is a boat key. This opens different fuel doors and places on a boat. This is a little key for that right there. So if you've never seen one of these, you usually have like a lanyard on it right here so you don't lose it. And definitely put a little float or something on it. But that's what this is for. And on different places on boats that have doors that look a lot like this, you'll have to have this key to open it, and that keeps people from stealing your fuel and stuff too. As easy. Of course, if a thief wants it, a thief's going to get it. But the one that I got there is called a keyless. So it has a little flap that comes out, and then you grab it and twist it. So I still won't need this key there on it. And I think the middle part right there is just a bottle opener. Well, everybody, I just accomplished something by myself I'm pretty happy with. And let me show you right here, man. It's pretty exciting. So I just got that little diesel out of the boat right here. And I'm gonna set it over to the side. And that's gonna be a project for the future right there, because I'm gonna need to pull the head off of it. And I might be changing pistons. I might be having to do some valve work, but definitely whatever's happened has thrown the compression out on it. And it's not a head gasket, so remember, this is a diesel, but the timing belt was put on by somebody before me out of time, and there's a very good chance they've been a valve. And one of the reasons I say that is because when I had this crossover pop off right here from the turbo and the intake, and I had it running, I could hear it pop, 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 pop. And that's a sign that there is a valve not closed and that most likely got bent. So, you know, somebody tried to do something right and do me a solid and give me a really good motor, and instead, whoever did the work for them of putting the gaskets and stuff and timing belt messed it all up. And that's life, and we're gonna move on forward. And I've got this original 5.7 liter sitting right here ready to go, looking so beautiful, looking so right, and she's ready to get in the boat, but maybe not tonight. Yeah, just waiting for that bell housing. So right now I'm gonna go clean up, and I'm gonna get down in this belge and get it all cleaned up again, and do a little work down in the sides in there before I do have the motor in the way, moving those batteries and all, and just keep on moving forward with life. Well, I've been working on the boat, but I'm fixing to do a little grilling here. I got me some chicken marinated up here and some local avocado that I put some olive oil and sea salt on, and that's about to be my meal. I'm gonna grill it down here on this little electric grill hanging out here by the garage. Just threw it on a cardboard box and let that grill get hot, and I'm gonna enjoy. So I had some more packages show up here today from Amazon. Took these 6 days to arrive from the time that I ordered them, and all of these were free shipping and no import duty fees. Let me show you here what I've got. So this package number 1 is the Quadrajet mounting bolts right here, and the price of that bolt kit, and this was the only one on Amazon for sale. There was no others listed. This was the only one, and that kit was $24.87. And the next item up is another box, a box in a box. So the next item here is the water pump. And let's have a look at that. I went ahead and opened up this next box, which has two items in it. And one of them is the marine fuel pump. And I'll explain a marine fuel pump to you. So this is a marine fuel pump. Now, you could buy a standard 350, small block Chevy fuel pump and put on that motor. And yeah, you can make it run and all that. It's going to pump fuel. But here's the difference on a marine one. A couple things. I'm going to sit down over here and we'll talk about it. So one of the things is that on a boat, your outlet where it's pumping the pressurized fuel out, that is going to be a hard line, like a stainless steel or a copper line with really good fittings that goes from the fuel pump to the carburetor. No rubber hose, no clamps, nothing like that, because your pressured fuel down in a boat on the pressure side, those clamps could leak and spray fuel, and it could cause an explosion, a fire out on the water. So it's going to have a hard line going to the carburetor. So if anybody's chopped it and put nipples on it and screwed on rubber hoses or stuff like that, unless maybe it's a good quality steel braided line, then it's not right, and you need to correct it and order the correct fuel line for it going from the pump to carburetor. Now the next thing is about the diaphragm if it went to leaking. So your inlet line can just have a regular nipple and a rubber hose coming from the fuel tank into the pump, because that's sucking, so there's not a chance of it spraying fuel. But the line coming out, like I say, it's got to be a hard line. Then if your diaphragm inside got a hole in it and fuel started leaking across that diaphragm to the other side, well, it has this little tube right here that goes up to the carburetor, to the top of the carburetor, and what it'll do is it will flood the engine. It'll flood it. Instead of spraying it out on the motor or anything like that, it'll get into the motor, right down through the carburetor, and flood the engine out where it's not running right, but the fuel stays contained inside the motor and going out the exhaust. So maybe your boat's not running right. You're like, man, why is it blowing a lot of black smoke? It's really rich. And you'll think something's wrong with your carburetor. You'll start looking at it, have the engine running, and you'll see fuel pumping out of that little line coming from this up to the carburetor, and you'll go, oh man, my fuel pump's going bad. The diaphragm inside of it must have a hole in it, and it's pumping fuel across. It's causing a carburetor flood. No harm, no foul, because it didn't leak any fuel down into the boat, which one spark with the fumes and kaboom. So that's another difference on a marine pump. And then the last thing is that they wanted marine stuff to where it was serviceable out on the water because of being stranded. So you could carry a rebuild kit, and the simple things like even a screwdriver will do this, see? And you can get down into the belts there, down, into the engine bay, and unscrew these screws out of here and change the diaphragm in it, Johnny on the spot, man. And it's just like you got a brand new pump again, and you're good to go. And you're not stranded on the water. Hit the key, you're ready to roll again. So they like to make things rebuildable and serviceable on a boat. Now that goes the same on what else? Well, for years they didn't want to put electronic ignition on them. It took a long time before the boat industry converted to electronic ignition, because points were kind of foolproof in the fact that if something went wrong with them out on the water, you could either just take a screwdriver, change a set of points, or you could take anything, paper, a rough piece of brown paper. You could take a fingernail file, some fine sandpaper, or a point file. Just carry a point file with you and file the points, and you got spark again. And it was cheap just to carry a new set of points with you also. So they like to make things rebuildable and serviceable on marine products. So this is a rebuildable pump, and so is the one that's on the boat. And I could have just bought a kit for it, but it looks like it's had a little bit of salt corrosion and stuff to the housing, and I just want to start fresh with a new pump here on it. Then we got one more item here, and we'll go back and look at the price of this water pump and the fuel pump. And now let's look at this. And this is a new starter for that motor, and hopefully I ordered the right one. I pray. Let me take it out of the plastic here real quick, see if I can do this single-handedly. Looks like I can. So this is the starter for it. Now there's usually a marinized version and a non-marinized version. I can tell this is a nice starter. It seems to be. They really epoxy paint coated over it against corrosion. It's got a nice thick coating on it. They'll seal them so there's no spark. This is an 11-tooth starter. They offered years ago a 9-tooth, but this is more like a gear reduction starter right here. The old school starters were a big starter motor. They came out with these that are actually stronger, lighter, and smaller, and have more power. So technology changed, and man, the motor used to be probably twice this size. So this is it. So let's go to the prices on the starter, the water pump, and the fuel pump. So the starter here, and it was $59.90, no import duty fees, and it met for the free shipping, so there was no shipping. That starter only cost me $59.90. I couldn't even go to a parts house in my hometown in Texas or to a marina and dare buy it for that price. And on the fuel pump here, you'll see here we gave $49.98 on it, and also it was free shipping and no duty fees or anything like that. So now let's go on to the next item. And the water pump right here was $68.49. So there you go right there, and it was also free shipping and no import and duty fees. So I jumped up here to the living room because the battery went dead on the camera, and so there you have it right there. That's a list of all the items that came in at the moment for the MerCruiser. I hope you're enjoying watching the videos and enjoying the content and all. If you are, let us know, write a comment, say yeah, I like this. And hope you're enjoying this little series as I do some more rehab on the Sea Ray Sundancer 240 cabin cruiser. Everybody, thank you much.